Call to order the meeting of the boarding zone of the appeals, November 22nd. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Foster. All those in favor? Mr. Polar?
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you. 4-0. Approve the minutes. Okay. Any special requests for continuances?
None.
Findings of fact. Entertain a motion.
For the first one on BZA 2021-23.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In consideration of the statutory criteria, I move we adopt the written findings of fact as presented and incorporate the evidence submitted to the record in our final decision and final action for variance petition number 2021- or BZA 2021-23.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foster, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Polar?
Yay.
Voting 4-0 in favor. Next one for BCA 2021-024.
Yeah.
Okay.
In consideration of the statutory criteria, I move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2021-024.
Second.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Foster. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Polar?
Yes.
Voting 4-0 in favor. Need a motion on BCA 2021-022.
Madam Chairwoman, in consideration of the statutory criteria, I move that we adopt written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record for final decision, final action for variance petition number BZA 2021-22.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Foster, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Polar?
Yay.
Vote carries 4-0. We'll go to old business. Seeing none, any old business from the floor? Next up is new business for BZA 2021-025. Is anyone here to present? Seeing no one here, then we should postpone to our next meeting consideration for this petition.
Then do a motion to continue it to your next meeting, which I believe is December 13, 2021.
We do have business for the next meeting, right?
I would move to continue to the next meeting, December 21st, you said?
13.
13th.
Second.
Motion to continue BZA 2021-025 petition to the meeting on December the 13th. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Oh, just a moment.
Stop the process. Is this Mr. Grable?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would withdraw the motion.
I move to withdraw my motion.
And you withdraw your
I
second.
withdraw my second.
Okay.
We're just getting ready to table you as a no-show.
I just got called in suicide. I apologize.
That's all right.
They're covering me for 30 minutes.
We'd like to consider BCA 2021-025 development standard variance request. Jason Grable at all those in planning to speak to this issue, I need you to stand and be sworn by our secretary.
Sure.
You swear on the surgery, customer had been student at college.
I did.
Mr. Grable, would you like to take the podium and tell us why you're here?
Thank you for your time.
Oh, do give us your address, name and address to begin with.
Yeah, Jason M. Grable's the name. The address is 407 US 31 North, 46142. Last property on the right hand side of the road there, US 31.
And then tell us why you're here.
I would love to construct my dream garage just south of my home. I this is I can explain. When I bought the property, it was 2 half-acre lots, and I took the time, spent the money, and had it replatted as 1 1-acre lot. So I'm hoping to build the garage on the south end of my property, about 25 feet off the house. There's a natural wooded area in the southeast corner of the property. And back there is a brick patio that we found by chance that was buried under about 3 inches of soil. Now there's a fire pit in there. And so I was hoping to preserve that area. And so I'm asking if I could build the garage within about 3 feet of the front face of the home instead of the 15-foot setback, just to preserve that area back there.
Okay, you have your staff report that was prepared on your request.
Yes.
We need to go ahead and read the statutory criteria into the record. I'll begin, and then I'll leave you to fill in the explanation.
Okay.
Number 1, the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because
the property is largely wooded. The proposed garage will sit way back from US 31 and will be constructed of premium building products. The proposed garage will provide visual and sound buffering of US 31 for the residents to the east on Valley Lake Court.
Number 2, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because
the property is large and partially wooded. The garage will be constructed of high quality building materials. The garage will add value to the property and to the neighborhood. Significant investment in single family residential property on a high traffic roadway is uncommon and beneficial for the area. This project will not adversely impact the area.
Number 3, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in use of the property because
if the garage structure is situated 15 feet behind the front line of the main structure of the home, it will encroach into a natural wooded area where an existing brick patio is situated. We prefer to preserve the wooded area to serve as a natural buffer between our home and the surrounding homes.
Okay, and I'll take number 4. The structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation. And you are aware of the proposed conditions that the staff recommended?
I am.
The garage location to be substantially conforming to the site plan submitted with the petition and attached to this report, and the garage shall substantially conform to the architectural elevation submitted with the petition.
Right.
And you're okay with those? You're in agreement with those?
I am.
Okay. You have anything else you would like to present?
That is all this time.
Anyone else wishing to speak to this issue?
Staff has no further comment. We support this petition.
Okay. Anyone else wanting to speak? We'll close the public hearing. Does any of the members of the panel have any questions?
No.
Mr. Kohler, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Are all of the notices in order?
Yes, the notices are in order, copies are in the file.
And the certified copies of the comprehensive plan and the unified development ordinance are also in the file.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to enter the evidence into record.
I move we admit all evidence presented in regard to this matter, including notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application, attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, staff report prepared by the planning commission, certified copies of the unified development ordinance, and comprehensive plan testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any demonstrators, and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Sorry.
Motion by Mr. Buster, second by Mr. King. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Kohler?
Yay.
Okay, vote carries 4-0. Entertain a motion on the decision.
I move that we approve the request with the two conditions noted. The garage will conform to the site plan submitted and conform to the architectural elevation submitted with the petition.
Second.
A motion to approve the request with the 2 conditions listed in the staff report by Mr. King and seconded by Mr. Foster. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Polar?
Yay.
Motion carries 4-0. I'll entertain a motion for findings of that.
Madam Chairwoman, having considered the statutory criteria, moving to direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number BZA 2021-25. Said findings specifically incorporate staff report and evidence submitted in the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Second.
I'll let Mr. Polar have it.
A motion by Mr. Foster, second by Mr. Polar. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And Mr. Foster, Polar, I need a verbal.
Yay.
Motion carries 4-0. And you're liberty to go ahead and move forward. Spit it out here. Move forward. And it'll be finalized at our next meeting, but you can go ahead and continue on now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, no other new business from the floor? Seeing none, announcements.
Did you want to talk about your rule of procedure in the event you wanted to adopt and allow members to participate by an electronic means of communication? Okay.
Does that need to be specifically on the docket though for us to?
No, you can do your rules of procedure.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no procedure that requires that. And I know you've all heard the governor is likely to try and end the public health emergency. And if he does so, you may only participate in meetings by an electronic means of communication if you've adopted a policy to allow that. So you would need a rule change.
Okay.
So I had sent out to you for consideration proposed amendments to your rules of procedure to add an entire new section to one article and to add an additional paragraph in another to address what I thought were your comments and concerns. I watched the video of the meeting of October 25th where you kind of discussed it. And I know one of the questions that came up was, gee, do we have to be seen? Can we just let somebody audibly participate? The statute would allow that, but if you're only audible and the public can't see you, you cannot participate in final action. So you wouldn't really be able to vote on anything. You'd only be able to talk for discussion purposes. And the other issue that came up was about the 72-hour notice. The way it is written, in the event for some reason your public notice of your meeting happened to leave off the Zoom meeting info, it's best if you know at least 3 days before, if you're not going to be at the meeting, to let the planning director and maybe the recording secretary know so they can make sure the Zoom info is on there. If the Zoom info is on there and you find that you need to participate electronically, that's covered. It says you don't have to do that in the event, you know, there's already, the meeting has been advertised as an electronic means of communication. There is, the statute says you may not participate in more than 50% of your meetings in a calendar year by electronic means, but you can have that be a lesser number if you like. The Plan Commission made it 25%, but that's entirely up to you. The other thing is you cannot attend more than 2 meetings by electronic means without a break in between, unless it's for one of those delineated reasons under item C, military service or illness or death of a relative, and that's set by statute. If you're going to have a rule, the statute says you have to have a break between 2, unless it's for one of those reasons.
Seems reasonable.
So I wanted to highlight those things. You would have to have all votes taken by a roll call, just so everybody can see who voted which way under your policy.
Okay, now I had a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay, because our meetings are generally on Mondays, it's 72 hours when you exclude the weekend. It's expecting somebody almost a week in advance to know they're not going to be able to attend. which is almost unrealistic for most people unless they've got a planned vacation.
So the reason I have that way is that's the open door law. For giving notice of the meeting, it excludes Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays. So, and again, the reason I put that in there was if you happen to know, to make sure that when the notice goes, that Zoom information is on there, because that's most likely the means by which your members are going to participate.
Now, is there something prohibiting us from at least continuing the option of Zoom meetings for at least the next year for the public to attend until we get kind of settled?
The city's policy is we're going to try to have Zoom for all meetings, but there have been a couple of times where by error or omission, the Zoom information was not put on. So you want to make sure, because the rule requires that if you have a member participating by electronic means, the public has to also be able to participate by the same means.
So if our notice of the meeting does not include a Zoom, then we would not be able to
correct, because you have to allow the public to.
But I guess my question is, can we not have that as a standard? For
it will be a standard, but if there happens to be an error and it's left off by accident, the sooner, if you know you're not going to be there, to tell them so they can make sure, oops, I got to check that and make sure the Zoom is on there. But that is a city practice. We will have all of them as Zoom as an option.
Okay. Now my next question, and we'll let you guys talk. I've just got my notes right here. I guess I'm concerned about I heard what you said about it being seen and heard, but if there are technical problems, which we had a lot of last year. I mean, I know Ed couldn't get on visually a number of times. So did some of the other members have difficulty. So we're going to penalize them not being able to participate. Is that what we're saying? They can't vote?
They would not be able to vote if you couldn't hear them. But so that means if there's a technical difficulty, you could still act if there is a quorum of you physically.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. So if there's not a quorum present,
you would have to have a quorum present, because your rule allows at least 3 of you have to be physically present. Okay. Only 2 of you at a time could participate by an electronic means.
Okay. I was just trying to get it straight in my head what we're saying.
And that's, if you have a policy, that's what the statute requires. At least a quorum of you must be physically present.
Okay, that's my questions.
I don't really think I have any. I understand. So basically, like the 70 hours is only really to make sure there's a Zoom link.
Correct.
Otherwise, if you Monday morning are sick.
And it's been, the notice is gone and the Zoom information is on there, up to 2 of you could participate by electronic means if that happens.
Because the weather now is going to possibly play a big factor in a lot of things, you know, that are going on. I mean, people are going to get sick, or they're going to have difficulty getting out to a meeting if the snow's bad.
So,
then we appear at Public Works.
if you were ready to act on these, if you wanted some changes or anything, but
well, we've seen the comments that Kenny had, which is pretty much the same as what my concerns were. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if you were comfortable with the 50%, that, you know, up to half a member could participate.
Yeah.
That's entirely up to you. The statute doesn't let you do any more than that.
And I don't think more than that would be reasonable.
Yeah. Trent, do you have any comments or questions?
No, it's basically the same thing we adopted for the planning commission, and I'm okay with the 50% changing to 25%, but you know, that's if you guys are more comfortable with the 50%, I'm fine with that.
I don't see any need for any other changes. I think the 50 is good. Personally,
I'm happy with what was submitted.
Okay.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. You got most of them. Madam Chairwoman, I move to amend Greenwood Board of Zoning Appeals Rules of Procedure, Article 2, Public Hearings, to add Section 2.16, Board Member Participation Meetings by Electronic Means, and to amend Article 7, Officers, Board Records, Section 7.03, Minutes Records, Public Records, to add an additional paragraph requiring certain information in the minutes when a board member participates by electronic means of communication as presented by the city attorney to become effective immediately upon the passage of this motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. King, a second by Mr. Foster. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And Trim?
Yay.
So we have unanimous agreement 4-0. Motion is approved. Are there any other announcements?
We do have this, excuse me, we do have business for December 13th, correct, Ed?
Yes.
We will be meeting again in December. We only have one meeting in December. So that second meeting would normally fall Christmas week, and we're not going to meet for that.
Good. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.